Hi guys, quick video here of how I did a DIY version of a bar riser for Honda VTEC, a Honda VFR800 VTEC. I'll try and be as quick as I can. So I just thought I'd do a project basically that would mimic closely what Moto CNC sell. They're a company that do a really nice spacer or bar riser, and it comes with a nice little cap and a little stem that hooks into your yoke, and then your handlebars can then slot into that, and it's really good for getting the original alignment that the handlebars have from factory. However, I wasn't too fussed about that. I thought I can forgo the little stem attachment and I'll just make my own. So I eBayed lots of different places, and this was the best match and fit. I'm here in the UK, so this company here, Loom Droitwich, looked after me, sorted me out 100mm length and 50 point, oops, I accidentally changed it there, 50.8 external diameter, outer diameter, and I went for the 4.8mm thickness. And obviously when I worked it out, it was a roughly I think it was, doing the maths now, it was around 41mm internal diameter. So I knew I'd have to, once I cut it to length, I'd have to then bore out that little bit of tube that I created. So I cut it to 2cm using a Dremel. I don't have a really nice angle grinder or circular saw or anything to do a really clean cut. So obviously if you've got those tools, your job will be infinitely better than the job I did. But I just used a Dremel and just very took my time just cutting away at the pipe until I got it as close to level as I could. Obviously it's not a perfect 2cm length all the way around because the Dremel is not a perfect solution, as I was only fixing it to a vise, so it wasn't as good as something that would be a fixed blade and so if you can do a better job than I did. So once I'd done that, then I put on the Dremel, I then put I found sanding was really slow. It was grinding out the inside, and boring a hole big enough to be 43mm to fit over the forks. However, it was really slow, so I would advise to initially, just to get the diameter large enough to fit over the fork, I used one of the pieces out of an engraving set, and there was like a nice squarish sort of not cone, cylinder shaped head that really bit into the aluminium and therefore was grinding away much faster. Once you've got it to 43mm, then sand it flat. And even the abrasive wheels that you can buy on eBay and Amazon, those nice soft abrasive wheels, they really get a nice smooth finish again on the aluminium, and it will protect your fork, stop your fork from getting all scratched. So yeah, that was it basically, and then fit the tube over the top of the fork, and once I'd done that, it was just a case of getting the handlebars lined up. I pinched my handlebars in a little bit actually, not having to worry about the additional stem slotting into the yoke. I could set the handlebars to roughly where I wanted them, and I pinched them in just so I could sit up a little bit more, not feel like I was reaching for the bars. And when you do that, just make sure, quick tip, obviously make sure that the bars, both sides, don't foul on the tank or hit into the screen. And if you do find that the brake levers on one, I found one side, the left side, the brake lever was just pinching and just touching on the screen. So I, undid the brake reservoir bolts, just loosen them off, just so I could just turn the brake lever down a bit so it didn't foul on the screen. And that's basically it. Yeah, that's essentially it. And I think it cost me £7.29. I had all the other tools. £7.29 instead of 55 quid was a good deal, and it does the job. I'll attach a quick video now just so you can see what they look like on the bike. Alright, take care. And obviously if you have any comments, leave them in the comment section, any advice, tips, things you think could be done better, and I'll I'll be glad to receive those.
So that's what I've done. It's not perfect and like dead level, because obviously I don't have like an angle grinder or anything. I just had the Dremel. So, but it just obviously enables it to be spaced. Same on this side there. The only thing you don't have is like any fancy cap, but then it doesn't come with a cap, so they just had like a little cap that slots in there. So I don't have that. And also that little notch for the grip, the handlebar to sort of slot into, isn't used, but doesn't, the way I see it, it doesn't really make much of a difference when this is going to be tightened down so much. I've got to go and put my torque wrench on it to do it up. I think it's 23 Newton meters to get that correct. So yeah, the one that you can buy has like a little bit and then like a little hole, so you can put it in there. But like I say, you never put enough pressure through the handlebars, do you? This actual is never really put under any pressure. You only really do that to turn the wheel when you're stopped. When you're riding, you don't really use them at all. So unless you're going to ride this into like a brick wall, is the only way that that's going to move. And if anything, it's not a bad thing if it gives. It stops anything from cracking or snapping. So yeah, let me know if you think there's anything concerning about that. But just a simple spacer basically, just to give me a bit of a rise. And then I've just pinched them in a little bit, making sure they don't catch on a tank. But when I pinch them in, it just allows me to sit even more upright. The further they are that way, obviously the more forward I fall. So